Drum fills are hard. These fills are hard and they're fast. This is a lesson you guys requested as part of this series. As always, sheet music is below this in a pinned comment or the video description. So I'm breaking out several drum fills that a couple of them I think really signify Neil-isms, if you will. And so if you're going to study Neil's style, you want to take these little cookie crumbs almost and put them together and be like, oh wow, so they do this repetitively, they do this, I see this coming and they're playing again and again. Go watch the rest of this series, ton of lessons in this series, really fun, some really hard stuff, but it really helps you to learn more about his playing. The last fill I break out on this one is, it's really hard. It's fast, and the way that my toms are laid down are not like his. His are laid down like 4 up top or 5 up top or something, and then a bunch on the bottom. So it makes that fill harder to pull off because I'm having to twist almost all the way around. I haven't told you all this, I don't think. I have a special place in my heart for Neil. So when I was a kid, and I know some of you don't like the talking, but this is like, some of you have stories like this. So when I was a kid, coming up, you know, I read Modern Drummer, and I remember they were doing a giveaway of one of Neil's drum kits. The one with like the gold hardware, bright red and gold hardware. And I remember just like staring at that thing. I remember vividly that being one of the drumming moments, like just staring and really like obsessing over that drum set, how much I wanted it. And you had to call in, and it was like 25 cents every time you entered. And so I remember for weeks bringing my mom like $1 or $2 or how much I could scrounge together or find or sell stuff off so that I could call that many more times and enter to try to win that drum set on Modern Drummer. So that's like, you know, you have some of those like defining moments. Like that's when I knew I was hooked on drums. I stared at that thing for hours and just, you know, knew every nuance of it, and was totally bummed when I didn't win it.
Loser.
But I'm sure there's, you know, thousands of other people that were doing the same things. But anyway, that's my Neil story. So these fills are fun, they're hard, they break out some of what Neil does best. Each one of them does. One of them you guys asked for, and so let's jump into this. Let's have fun and break out these drum fills. All right, so I'm excited about this one. Again, download the sheet music because it's great to follow along with this and really use it to dissect what exactly he's doing and get some Peartisms that you can latch onto things, some Neil-isms. So I picked a couple of these fills because they had some things that Neil does in his playing over and over, and I picked one of them because you guys wanted it, so kudos to you. Now, all of these are played between 146, 144, so they're pretty quick. The first one is going to be a fill from The Enemy Within. Beginning of that song, it's at about the 9-second mark. Again, it depends on which recording you're listening to, which version, but this is at the beginning of that song around the 9-second mark, and it has a signature lick that Neil repeats a lot, and that is 3 notes very fast using the triplet. So if we've got triplets here, triplet, he would do something like this. So that's something he does a lot, or he does a pickup. He does those 2 pickup notes very, very quickly, so it's a single 3 that he does quite a bit. So at the beginning of this, it's a 2-bar fill, and it incorporates a double bass, but I'm not using one because I just wanted to explain this to you with a single bass drum. There's a way to do it. So in the first measure, we have 2 crashes on downbeat, so 1, and then in the second beat, we have a triplet with a flam at the top of it on the high tom. Now, I play that as a Swiss Army triplet, so it's going to be a flam, right, left. Because otherwise, I wind up on my left hand and coming down on the toms, I have to cross over my right or go under, so that's uncomfortable for me. I'd rather lead all of those with the right hand. So I'm going to go Swiss Army triplet. Then on beats 3 and 4, we have that 3-note single stroke that he likes to do over triplets. So triplet, triplet, he's going to go down the toms. Triplet, triplet. crashes on the downbeat of the next measure, rests for 2, the downbeat of 3, and on the and of 3, he has this double bass sextuplet lick, so 3 notes. So 3, babadakun. The way I play that is I'll play it 3. So floor, tom, kick, kick, snare, and crash. Right? So that's how it's gonna lay out for me. So if I was gonna play this somewhat slow, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll play it up to tempo for you to show you what it sounds like at around 146 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now this brings us to the second drum fill that I love. I picked this one because I think it's just a great 2-bar fill that Neil does that just, a lot of his drum fills, they're really, really powerful. And he has this lick he likes to do between the hands and the feet. So singles between the hands and the feet. We saw it in the intro to YYZ. In the ride cymbal portion, it's back up. You'll find him doing a lot of that within a groove, or he doesn't play that on the ride cymbal bells. So you'll find him doing a lot of that within grooves at high tempos, but also within fills. And that, you might be like, Steven, that's not signature enough to be a Neil lick. Well, it is. He brings it back quite a bit in a lot of his playing, all right? Even in something else we've already covered, the intro to YYZ. By the way, if you haven't checked out all of the lessons in this series, we got the intro to YYZ, we got the intro to Spirit of the Radio, we got the breakdown for Tom Sawyer, top 3 beats, like on and on and on and on. So much good stuff. So be sure, I'll try to post all of those below in a pinned comment as well as the video description so that you can go geek out as much as you want about these Peart parts. Now, Peart parts. I always shave the last part of his names off. So this one is really a 2-bar fill, and it's going to be 16th note based, 144 BPM, and it's going to be in the song Vital Signs at the 3-minute and 56 second point. And so what we're going to do is we are going to play 1 as a crash. So it's going to go 1 E and 2 E and. Now, both those snares are accented. We have some accented and unaccented notes. Then in beat 3, we're going to play a flam followed by 2 unaccented 16th notes followed by an accented one. So 3 E and accent, unaccent, unaccent, accent. The downbeat of beat 4 is unaccented, and it's going to go 4 E and accent the E and So starting on 3, 2 E and whole measure. 4 E and just in case you're wondering, I am reading some of this stuff because there's a lot of notes in this. I'm teaching a lot of his stuff, and it's just got so many notes to remember as exact placement. As well, the placement of my toms is a little bit different than his, right? He's got a ton, like a huge rack up here and then 3 down bottom. And so a lot of the things that he does, I'm winding up having to turn way over here, and that's kind of been an issue learning something. I'm not complaining though. All right, so the next measure, we have 2 16th notes at the top accented, 1 E, and on the crash and an unaccented note on the snare drum after that. So 1 E and Then in the downbeat of 2, it's 2 accent and 2 accent E and. Then we go into that signature lick of the on the kick drum, and then Tim and I had a debate on this when he was transcribing it. So some of the kick drum parts and stuff, some of the sounds were kind of fudging into other sounds, and so you can play this next part as 2 beats of alternating singles, so 3 E and 4 E and between the snare and the kick. I hear a flam though, so the way I play it is. And then he comes out of that with a crash on 1 with the snare drum, crash with the kick drum, crash on 3. All right, so let me play that full thing. 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 and. So that's going to be that. Now let me play that at full tempo. Again, that's 144 BPM is where he's playing this, so it's moving pretty quick. And again, the thing I want you to take away from this is the singles between the snare and the kick. He does that a lot, just like the fill before in The Enemy Within. Take away that 3-note single. Right, that's a signature Neil lick. All right, so let me play this full tempo for you so you can see what it sounds like. And last but not least, we have a viewer request. This is one of the fills at the end of La Villa Strangiato. I may be butchering the pronunciation of that, but this one's hard. This one's quick, and it uses quick subdivisions, and what it illustrates is how quickly and precisely Neil can get around the drum kit. I remember reading something about, whenever I was a kid, about him having a quarter-size dot that he would draw, and he would try to hit that on every drum. And you could look at his drums, you could see he was really, really exact. It makes me feel bad for how not as exact as I am as he is. So on this, let's get to it. We're going to have a crash on the downbeat, and then on the upbeat of 1, it's going to be ghosted 2 sextuplets accenting the 3rd. So going into the next one, this is an advanced fill, by the way. Going into the next beat, I play these as singles, so that I play double and then a single, so right, right, left, and then these are singles, accent, so right, left, right, accent that. You could play it as an inverted paradiddle-diddle, but at that speed, I prefer it singles. Going into the next beat, he plays 16th notes on beat 3, so 3, E, and accent the snare. And then what we're going to do is a ghost on the snare, accent the E, ghosting the other 2 notes, so 4, E, and A. All right, so that full measure, 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and. Now the next measure, we're starting with a crash snare, so 1 E and A. Then on beat 2, it's an accented downbeat. All the other 16th notes are unaccented, so 2 E and A. And now for the hard part. He plays sextuplets. It's going to go 1, 2 accented, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he has his toms. This lick was really hard for me to play, by the way, because my toms are way back here, so I'm having a twist for that last one. It would really end on the tom that's like around here for him. He would come around this way. But for me, it's way around there, so getting this lick was really challenging because of how far I had to turn around. That's not complaining. That's just the layout of your kit at this speed really does matter. So it's going to go on 3. Then he has 2 notes apiece. And then on the next measure, beat 1, he plays 3 sextuplets with this weird double bass kick, which I'm simulating with a single kick. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, right? And I start my kick around on that 2nd note, and I just do like a stutter. You can listen to it. It's tough and it's full tempo. You can see what it sounds like. Then he has a kick drum on the of 1 there, on the and of 2, and then he crashes 3, 4. Something like that, right? It's a hard lick, and once you get it up to full tempo, it makes more sense of what's going on. right? That's obviously, I fudged that, the timing there at the last, but this fill is hard to do slower. So let me show you full tempo what this fill looks like a couple times so that you can see exactly what it sounds like isolated. It's a tough one. So this one will keep you busy for a little while. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it, the top 3 fills that I think you should know because they are really signature of what Neil does. So we have those and there's other things, but these are those single note 3s that are around the toms. He also uses that as a pickup a lot of times. And then singles between the hand and the kick drum, right? Backa, whether it be in a groove or it be in a drum fill, whether he be playing flams or he be playing non-flammed notes. That's a signature. And then the other one is his extremely fast single strokes and singles around the toms. He has so many toms, but it's not just that he has so many, he gets around them really, really quick. He's very, very precise. And so this is like a big challenge for you to not just try to hit the drum, but try to actually hit the drum in the place. I used to have a practice pad and I had a circle drawn in it about $50. And I tried to play within that $50 because Neil was like an inspiration to me. Even though he was well before my time, I came in mid to late 90s. Starting to play, but I kind of caught up with his stuff. And so it's important to take those things and practice them. So the precision is really important. Hopefully this will help you learn some fills by him. Again, they are all fast, so this is definitely not beginner stuff, but it is fun to play them at slow tempo and to pick them out. Download the sheet music, watch the rest of this series. It's super fun. There's also a John Bonham series that just got posted. So I'm just going through favorite drums. If there's another drummer you want to see some lessons on, put it down there. This is the guy that you voted in, so maybe the next guy that gets voted in will be the one that you want. So leave me a comment. Let me know which fill you like the best as well. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you should be doing that right as I'm speaking. So go click that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell. There's a bell there. If you ding that, you're going to get notified when new lessons come up, which is every week, a few times a week, and as well as whenever I go live, all of those things. And if this helped you, share it with somebody else you think it may help. Pass it around, click that thumbs up button. But whatever you do, I'll see you here in the next video. Go watch the rest of this series. Go practice. You've got to practice this stuff because it's super fast.